me, you, and Colin, when we got picked up at that island on the mod.
When we got picked up?
So me...
Was this the one where you're like underwater inside of the helicopter for like ever and you couldn't die?
No, that was probably him. He just can't die.
Was that me?
No,
probably.
This is me, Drew, and Colin. We meet up at this airfield, right? And we kind of all spawned within maybe 20 minutes of each other, so we all ran to a single location.
Yeah.
There's this guy flying overhead, right? So Drew on the mic is just like, hey guy, come pick us up, like right over here, we're friendly, come pick us up. And the guy turns around and lands, and just like boom, lands. We have a few like weapons, nothing really good. He lands and picks us up and asks, hey, where do you guys want to go?
Oh, this fucking story.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is he talking about? And I'm like, oh, this story. Okay, yeah. Continue.
So,
a good story.
So he picks us up, right, and we were just like, hey, just drop us off at the airfield. We're trying to get a helicopter of our own, He's like, all right, I'll drop you off at the airfield. He has one other guy with him. And so we're like, cool. We get in there, we're kind of just like, awesome.
Well, he picks us up, and then he picks up his friend.
Oh, yeah, picks up his friend. Then we go, it takes maybe 5 minutes to get to this airfield, right? Mm-hmm. We get to this airfield, and we see a helicopter there, and we're like, cool. But the helicopter that's there is a lot better than the one we're flying in. Now, we're flying in probably a banged-up Huey. This thing is like one of those big Russian assault helicopters, right?
So it's at the end of the airfield, too. Yeah,
so it's at the end of the airfield, and the guy goes and kind of lands like in the middle of the airfield.
He landed pretty far away, so like he could have beat us back to the helicopter.
And like he landed, and we were like, oh, cool, helicopter. And then he starts saying like, hey, don't take the helicopter. We're gonna like that. We want that helicopter. Don't take it. And we're just kind of like, hey, you already have a helicopter. Like, no, fuck that. And he drops us off, and then he lifts up, and you can see that he's going over there to try to get to the helicopter first, right? And we're just like, what the fuck? Like, no, fuck that guy. And he was just like, don't try to take the helicopter or we'll kill you. And so me and Drew were like, fuck that. We go and we rush and we try and... did you get a dirt bike?
I was running and I got there was an ATV.
ATV.
There was a quad on the airfield. I jumped on it and it was running. So I raced over there and I got in it and he freaking...
He's landing, right? He lands and he gets out and he goes inside the helicopter. Mm-hmm. He notices, okay, it's shit. Like, the engine's fucked. So he tries to get in and he's like, oh, shit. So he gets out. And by that time, I had been drinking a little bit. I had a little bit to drink. And this guy was just like, don't fucking try to grab it, right? And I was like, fuck you, dude. You already have a fucking helicopter. Like, let us have one, And he lands and we're like, dude, fuck these guys. And so we're rushing over there to try to get the helicopter first. He gets in, notices it's shit, gets out, tries to lift up his helicopter. Fucking Drew, right? Starts attacking the helicopter with a hatchet when it's trying to lift off. He's all, boom, boom. And one of the, I think, I'm not sure if it was the guy who was flying it.
So the guy in the helicopter is flying it. He gets down and he goes, get out of the helicopter or I'll shoot you. And so I was just like, what the fuck, man? I'm trying to get... But the helicopter was broken. It needed to be fixed. So I get out and he lands and his buddy gets out to go look at the helicopter. And so I run up to the helicopter that the guy was flying, and I just start hitting it with my hatchet because his helicopter was so fucked up that the couple of times that I hit it with my hatchet, like I broke his helicopter.
Yeah,
and he had to crash land. Like he was like 3 feet off the ground, but he fucking fell. And then the other guy got out, and this guy
was like, I rush up, I see him getting out, and he's like, and they're like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Why the fuck?
I think Brad had a hatchet. He was like standing behind him.
And I was just like, boom! Hit him in the back of the head. And he's on the ground and he's bleeding out on the ground. And the guy, the guy who was flying was like, dude, what the fuck? Why'd you kill my friend? And Drew was just like, fuck you. And boom! Hits him. And they're on the ground and they're bleeding out on the ground. And we're sitting there, we're just like hammering down. We're just like, don't you ever fucking threaten us again. Don't you ever.
Brad's all, fuck you, don't threaten us. He's like, ah!
We were cool until you fucking started throwing
I saw some tears down his little avatar as he was murdering him with the hatchet.
Yeah, and you can only listen to their mic when they're next to you. Mm-hmm. Like, there's not like they try to like ban like mic alls throughout the whole server because then people will cheat.
Yeah.
So you can only talk to people next to you. So as soon as they die, boom, we couldn't hear their mic anymore. But then we knew, okay, like now we just made a bunch of enemies.
Yeah. And Colin had just run up, and what happened? Did we die?
We got on the ATV that you found, and because none of the helicopters worked.
Oh, I fucking killed us. I was driving around the little town next to the airfield on that quad.
Because there was a helicopter chasing us now.
Yeah, and we needed parts too for the helicopter. But Colin the whole time is on the airfield, and he's in this piece of shit jalopy car. But me and him are riding around town, and we're looking for stuff. And they weren't even there yet, I think. I fucking hit a fence. And the quad was so fucked up, I killed me and Brad. Like,
yeah,
it just blew up.
Yeah.
And Colin's on the airfield. Hey, those guys are back. They're in another chopper. And he was driving down the road, and they were just shooting at him as he was driving. He's like, what do I do? He's just like, they're trying to kill me.
Tuck and roll, Colin. Tuck and roll.
They ended up killing him.
Yeah. We made a lot of enemies. What happened, what it was, is I'd get like... I'd just start drinking, and then people were dicks to us. I would get pissed, and I wouldn't take any prisoners.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story is Brad shouldn't drink, and you should never, ever trust anyone or help anyone on DayZ.
Pretty much.